So you're interested in buying an Infiniti G37 from the years produced from the years 2008 to 2015. Technically, 2014 and 2015 are renamed to the Q60, but pretty much is a G37. So none of these are in order in any way. So I highly suggest if you are serious about getting this car, stick to the end of the video to see every single issue. Because to some people, some of these issues might be a big deal. To other people, these issues might be a huge deal, and some of them are just really bad and need to be looked out for. So without any further ado, let's hop into it. First issues specifically affects the model years of 2008, 2000, I believe 10, and maybe even some in the year 2011. The interior of these cars from those years seem very prone to falling apart. The dash will get sticky.
Sticky that is. Up in this area. Yeah, there we go. Up in that area, right up in there. You see this? I want this gone as soon as possible. It's across the whole.
The dash will crack and peel. The leather will rip. The leather gets really worn out. It cracks under the heat. If you find any of those years and they're in decent condition, it wouldn't be a bad idea. If you do grab it, it wouldn't be a bad idea to go ahead and put protective layers, condition, and clean the leather. Also, put a protective layer on the dash and maybe even get window tint that reflects sunlight, especially if you're in a really hot state. That's just something to look out for. But yeah, if you guys are really picky about a perfect interior, stay away from those years because it's not going to be fun. Crack and decay if you were to somewhat neglect them. Second issue, this affects every single model year known of the Infiniti G37, even some of the Q50s, and even some of the newer model Q60s. It's a pretty bad issue just kind of around the whole entire Infiniti lineup. And that would be the sunroof drain issues.
Oh no. Oh my god. Yeah, that's a problem.
If you guys don't know, these cars are terrible with the sunroof drains. They like to leak, especially into the passenger side floorboard for some reason. They seem to have issues with that. If you don't know what's down there, it's actually the body control module. And if that gets fried, it's going to be pretty expensive. You actually have to go, at least from what I know, you have to go to the Infiniti dealership. And of course, if you're going straight to the Infiniti dealership, it will be a lot more pricier. At the same time, it's just something that you have to be very delicate with. You do not want to fry your body control module. That's something I had to have get done. It was pretty pricey. They ended up having my car for about 3 weeks because they couldn't find the issue at first. I don't know. I wouldn't return to them because I think they're kind of stupid. But at the same time, they're the only people that seem to even want to touch the car to repair the body control module. Every other shop was scared of it. Anyway, there is a way to fix it. Fix on YouTube. I don't remember his name off the top of my head, but he was able to reroute the sunroof drain to the AC condensate drain, and it's foolproof. It doesn't leak. It doesn't do any of that. Pretty much, the drain would fail at the firewall and it would cause it to leak down the firewall and even drop down below the glove box, and it would just completely soak the passenger side carpet. But even all four corners of the car can get soaked because they're all kind of crappy and like to get clogged. I had to fix every single one of mine. Fun, but at least I know it's not going to happen again, at least for another long time. But yeah, that is one of the most expensive issues with these cars, especially if that body control module happens to get fried. It's not going to be a fun time. Issue with these cars also affects every single model issue with this vehicle. These cars, especially in California, I believe Maryland and New York State, they're really bad for getting stolen. These cars are kind of crazy easy to steal if the right criminals know how to get a hold of them. Pretty much, they reprogram a key to your car, and it's super fast and easy to do for Infinitis for some reason. Um, I believe they should have been recalled by this point. If you guys don't see the takeovers, G37s are there, and usually half the time they're stolen. So that's that. Really easy to steal. Well, all they do is break the sunroof out, and then they reprogram the car to make a new key, and they take off with your ride. There are ways to, of course, make sure that doesn't happen, including a kill switch, You can do that from your fuel pump, your spark plugs. There's different ways you can do that, or you can just get a OW2 port, so they can't even get inside of it to program it. So you can get that, or just beef up the security system on your car in general. Years from 2008 to 2009, so they're just those 2 years, and that would be the 5 speed automatic transmission in those cars are known to be extremely slow and sluggish. Some people have reported having issues with them. Still some out there that have fine 5 speed transmissions that they're fine, but you of course you want to shoot for the 7 speed. It's the faster, just better option out there. The next thing is extremely expensive, and it could cost you a whole entire new engine. It could even total out your car depending on how beat your car is or how old it is. So that would be the 2008 to, I believe, early 2012 models. So honestly, the only ones that are considered technically safe is 2013 to 2015. Pretty much the oil gallery gaskets on these things just take a crap, and it can just blow up your engine. Huge issue. Of course, if the owner has already replaced this, the issue is not most likely non-existent. You don't have to worry about it. But a lot of the times, people need to get it done. They don't know much. They don't know that it needs to be done, and it could cause a huge issue. It could cost you your car if you're not looking out for it. So, like I said, if you want to completely avoid that issue, technically the later 2012 models are safe, but even some people have complained about them breaking then. The only ones I know for sure are safe are 2013 G37 and 2015-16 Q60 or Q40 that they renamed the sedans. So yeah, look out for those if you want pretty much the most refined version of the Infiniti G37. This next one technically isn't a huge expensive fix, but it can still be a pain in the butt. I know mine have went bad, but for some reason the wheel bearings on these cars just love to go out. I don't know if Infiniti just had poor quality when they just made them, and weren't made all that great, and they tend to go out. I think every 30 to 50,000. Don't know off the top of my head, but they don't seem to last long. They don't seem to last long at all. All right, a lot of people complain about it, and then they seem to go out prematurely than any other car should. This other issue seems to be pretty well known, and I'm pretty sure it affects every single year of the Infiniti G37, and that would be the passenger side airbags not deploying upon a high speed crash, or any crash for that matter, which is pretty concerning, especially if you have passengers in your car a lot. But pretty much what happens, the passenger seat, it has a weight on it, and it's supposed to detect if there's a person there or not. Well, sometimes it detects them, other times it doesn't. If it doesn't detect them during a crash, airbags won't deploy, could end up killing the passenger. Don't know how it wasn't recalled, but it's not. It is expensive to get fixed, I've heard, but maybe other independent shops are willing to mess with it. Maybe you'll just have to call around and ask. Mine seems to have the issue, but it doesn't seem very often. It doesn't seem very often. I think usually I only see it flicker on and off is if I have my work backpack in the passenger seat when I'm, taking corners. I think the weight shifting on and off of the weight scale, it might affect it. But other than that, I don't think it really affects my car too much. Hopefully, it doesn't become an issue because, of course, you don't want your passenger dying in a wreck or something if anything happens. But something to look out for, especially if you're wanting to get this car for family for some reason. Some people want the family car to be an Infiniti G37. I don't know, but just keep that in mind when you're going to buy a car. My head is actually there is a little coupler in the passenger left the upper passenger side of the engine bay. There's a coupler that connects two coolant hoses. That coupler is made out of plastic. Of course, it gets brittle over time. It'll snap and you'll start leaking coolant, which of course will overheat your engine and potentially destroy it. Now, I've had this issue ever since I had the car, and I got it fixed like 8 months after I got the car because I kept on seeing like, why is my coolant reservoir keep going down? Keep adding coolant. Okay, okay, something's up, something's up. Because I'd only check it like once every month. It didn't overheat the engine. I think there was enough still circulating in there because like the temperature never went up or anything like that. The engine was never super hot, never made any weird noises. Thank God. But Had it replaced, super cheap part. Got it for like $4 at AutoZone. Granted, it was another plastic part. You can get a metal version from Z1. It's a bit more expensive, but I got mine for $4. Pulled the old one out. It was pretty much destroyed. Put the new one in. Haven't had any issues since. Um, Other than that, since I got those issues figured out, I'm pretty sure my car is going to be reliable for years to come. Just make sure you keep up on oil changes. Just follow the maintenance on the cars because that's when it starts to get really expensive when you start to neglect them, especially them being like technically a premium luxury brand. It will be more expensive to repair if you had to take it to the dealership for something that other independent shops don't want to mess with it, especially the body control module or their super delicate electronics that you do not want to mess up. The thing that seems to affect these cars really, really bad, not a huge issue, of course, it's dirty throttle bodies. These cars do not tolerate dirty throttle bodies at all. Anything, the car will have trouble starting every time. I was like wondering, all right, do I need a new battery? This doesn't make sense. My battery's reading volts fine. It's good, all good to go. Looked it up. Throttle bodies were super sensitive on these cars. Took a little bit, took the hoses off, took the intakes apart. Seen the throttle bodies were dirty. Cleaned them with some throttle body cleaner. Put it back together. Had to do an idle relearn, of course. A bit of a pain. It took like a process of an hour or two. Had the car up and going again. Not a huge issue, but it can be annoying. And of course, if you get the car, you don't want to mess with it for a while. Get that out of the way. Other than that, these cars are pretty reliable as long as they're not beat the crap out of, and they're not burning oil and just not neglected in general. These cars should run fine. But anyway, thanks for watching the video. If this helps you out, hit the subscribe button.